Some houses are abandoned for a reason. Some rooms are locked for a reason. And sometimes mirrors are covered for a reason. Tonight's story is about a house that stood at the farthest corner of the city. A house surrounded by silence. A house with a locked room. And a mirror that was never meant to be uncovered. Because the moment someone removed the veil from that mirror, something on the other side woke up. And what happened next left two people dead. And a whisper that still haunts the road outside that house. 3 years ago, a young couple named Arjun and Meera moved into a new home. Arjun worked in a corporate office downtown. Meera was a freelance designer who mostly worked from home. The house they rented was unusually cheap, huge, 2 floors, wide windows, a large backyard garden. It almost looked too perfect. But there was one detail that the real estate agent casually mentioned. The house was located at the very edge of the city. Beyond it, there were no houses, no shops, no street activity, just an empty road and scattered trees. At night, the entire area became eerily silent, but Arjun laughed it off. "Perfect," he said. "Peace and quiet." Meera smiled. At first, everything felt wonderful. The isolation. Every morning, Arjun left for office around 9 a.m. Meera would wave goodbye from the front porch. Then the house would fall into complete silence. No neighbors, no traffic, just wind brushing through the trees. At first, Meera enjoyed the solitude, but after a few days, the silence began to feel strange. Sometimes she felt as if someone was walking upstairs, but when she checked, no one was there. One afternoon, while exploring the house, she noticed something unusual. At the far end of the corridor on the first floor, there was a locked door. The door looked older than the rest of the house. Dust covered the handle, and strangely, the keyhole looked scratched, as if someone had tried to lock it permanently. Meera frowned.
Why would anyone lock a room like this? She wondered.
Her curiosity slowly grew stronger. The key. That evening, Meera asked Arjun about the locked room. Arjun shrugged. Probably storage. But Meera couldn't stop thinking about it. The next morning, after Arjun left for office, she decided to search for the key. She opened drawers, cabinets, closets. After nearly half an hour, she found something interesting. Inside the drawer of their bedroom nightstand was a small rusty key. Meera picked it up slowly. Something about the key made her uneasy, but curiosity won. She walked to the locked door. Her hand trembled slightly as she inserted the key. The lock clicked open. The door creaked loudly as she pushed it open. A thick cloud of dust filled the air. The smell was horrible, rotten, stale, as if the room had been closed for decades. Sunlight barely entered through the small window. Cobwebs covered every corner. Broken furniture lay scattered across the floor. It looked like someone had abandoned the room in a hurry. Meera covered her nose.
This place needs serious cleaning, she murmured.
She decided to call a maid the next day to help clean it. But just before leaving the room, she noticed something strange at the far corner of the room. Standing against the wall was a large mirror, The mirror was completely covered with a black cloth veil. Mira stared at it.
Why would someone cover a mirror? She wondered.
A strange chill ran down her spine, but she ignored it and quietly closed the door. The next morning, Mira hired a maid named Kamla to help clean the room. Both women opened the door together. Dust flew everywhere. They spent nearly 2 hours cleaning the place, sweeping, throwing away broken furniture, wiping thick layers of dirt from the floor. Finally, only one thing remained, the veiled mirror. Kamla looked at it nervously.
Madam, maybe we should leave it covered, she said.
Mira laughed.
It's just a mirror.
She stepped closer, slowly grabbed the black cloth, and pulled it away. The mirror revealed a dusty reflection of the room. Mira saw herself standing there, Kamla behind her. Everything looked normal. For a moment, then suddenly, something impossible happened. Mira's reflection smiled, but Mira wasn't smiling. Her reflection slowly tilted its head to one side and grinned wider. Kamla screamed. Mira stumbled backward in terror. The reflection continued staring at her, smiling, watching, waiting. Without saying a word, Mira ran out of the room. Kamla followed her. They slammed the door shut and locked it again. But that night, something far worse came out of that mirror. Mira did not speak about what she saw in the mirror for the rest of the day. She tried to convince herself that it was simply an illusion. Dust, lighting, a trick of the eyes. But deep inside, she knew something was wrong. That reflection had moved on its own. When Arjun returned from office that evening, he immediately noticed that something was bothering her. "You look pale," he said while placing his bag on the table. "Are you all right?" Mira hesitated. Then she told him everything. About the locked room, about the cleaning, about the mirror, and about the smile. Arjun listened patiently. Then he laughed softly. "You probably imagined it," he said. "You were alone in a dusty room for hours. Your mind must have played tricks." Mira wanted to believe him. She truly did. So she nodded, and the couple decided to forget about the room for now. They had dinner together that night, watched television, and by 11 p.m. they went to bed. The house fell silent again. Outside, the wind slowly moved through the trees, and somewhere in the darkness, something inside the locked room was awake. At exactly 2:17 a.m., Arjun suddenly woke up. He wasn't sure why. The room was completely dark. The electricity was still working, but the air felt strangely cold. Arjun sat up for a moment. Then he realized something. He needed to go to the bathroom. He quietly got out of bed, careful not to wake Mira. The hallway lights were dim. The house was silent, almost too silent. Arjun finished and returned to the bedroom. But just as he reached the door, the entire house suddenly went dark. The power had gone out. "Great," he muttered. He walked toward the kitchen to get a candle. The house looked very different in the darkness. The long hallway seemed endless. The shadows stretched across the walls. Even the sound of his own footsteps echoed strangely. Finally, he found a candle in the kitchen drawer. He lit it. The small flame flickered weakly. Arjun returned to the bedroom. But the moment he entered, he noticed something was wrong. Meera was sitting in the far corner of the bed, her knees pulled close to her chest, her face pale with terror, her eyes wide. What happened? Arjun asked immediately. Meera looked at him slowly. Her voice trembled.
You left the room? Right?
Yes,
While you were gone,
her voice cracked.
someone came into the room.
Arjun frowned. That's impossible. Meera pointed toward the bed. Her hand was shaking violently.
She's hiding under the bed.
For a moment, Arjun didn't know how to react. The candle flame flickered between them. Meera's fear looked genuine, but the idea seemed ridiculous. Still, he decided to check. Arjun slowly placed the candle on the nightstand. Then he knelt down. The floor was cold. He lowered himself slightly and looked beneath the bed. At first, he saw nothing, just darkness. Then his eyes adjusted, and what he saw made his heart skip a beat. Under the bed, sitting in the corner, was Meera. Her face was pale, her eyes filled with terror.
Arjun, she whispered. I saw someone sitting on the bed, so I hid here.
Arjun froze. His mind refused to understand what he was seeing. Slowly, very slowly, he lifted his head and looked at the bed, sitting exactly where Meera had been moments ago. Was a woman, but something about her face was horribly wrong. Her smile stretched too wide. Her eyes were empty, her neck bent slightly to one side, crooked, twisted, and she was staring directly at him, grinning. For the first time in his life, Arjun felt true fear. His heart began pounding violently. His body trembled. Without saying a word, he grabbed the hand of the woman sitting on the bed and pulled hard. "Run!" he shouted. He didn't even look back. He ran straight toward the door. But after just 2 steps, something felt wrong. The hand he was holding felt strangely cold. Too cold. Slowly, he turned his head, and what he saw made him scream. The crooked-faced woman was running beside him, still grinning, still staring. Arjun instantly let go of her hand. He ran out of the bedroom, his mind completely panicked. "Meera!" he shouted. "Meera, where are you?" Arjun ran down the hallway, through the living room, and out the back door. The backyard garden was dark. Wind moved through the tall plants. The sky was full of dark clouds. Then he saw her, standing near the center of the garden. Meera, her face filled with fear.
Arjun! She cried.
He ran toward her immediately. Relief flooded his body. He grabbed her hand tightly. "Come on, we have to leave this house." But the moment he looked at her face again, his blood turned cold. The crooked smile returned. The twisted neck, the empty eyes. The same woman. Arjun screamed in pure terror. He pushed her away and ran toward the front gate. Behind him, he could hear footsteps, soft, slow, following him. By the time Arjun reached the road outside the house, rain had begun pouring heavily. thunder roared across the sky. The empty road looked endless. Arjun didn't stop running. His breath grew heavier. His vision blurred from rain and tears. Then suddenly, a massive lightning bolt struck a tree beside the road. The explosion of light was blinding. The electricity surged through the wet ground. Arjun was standing too close. The shock hit him instantly. His body froze, and within seconds, he collapsed, dead. The next morning, a passerby found Arjun's body lying near the road. Police were called immediately. They inspected the house. Everything seemed normal at first, until they opened the locked room. Inside, they found Mira's body, lying in front of the uncovered mirror, her face frozen in terror, as if she had seen something so horrifying. Her heart simply stopped. The police contacted the owner of the house. At first, the owner refused to say anything, but after hours of questioning, he finally admitted the truth. Years ago, the house belonged to a woman who practiced witchcraft. She used the mirror in that room to perform rituals. She believed the mirror was a gateway to another world, a door through which spirits could enter. One night during a ritual, something came through, something evil, something that killed her. After that incident, the mirror was covered, the room was locked, and the house remained empty for years. Until Arjun and Mira moved in, but the police dismissed the story. They closed the case as a suspicious double death. The mirror was covered again. The room was locked again. But even today, people walking on that lonely road at night claim something strange. Sometimes, when the wind is quiet, they hear a faint whisper coming from the house. A woman's voice, soft, desperate, begging for help.
Please, let me out. Free me from the mirror.
And that house still stands at the edge of the city. Silent, abandoned, and the mirror still waits behind that locked door. So the next time you see a mirror covered with cloth, ask yourself one question. What if someone covered it to stop something from coming out? If this story gave you chills, make sure to like the video, share it with your friends, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to the 60-second scare for more terrifying stories that will keep you awake at night. Because here, every story hides a nightmare, and the next one might be even darker.